we will be reading another Disney classic. This time we will be reading Cinderella. Let's get straight to it. One day, Gus, Shock, and the other mice who lived in Lady Tremaine's chateau gathered around their friend Cinderella as she pulled her mother's old dress out of a trunk. "Isn't it lovely?" Cinderella said. "Well, maybe it's a little old-fashioned," she added, "but I can fix that." Earlier that day, the mice had watched as an invitation to a royal ball arrived. Ever since Cinderella's father died, her stepmother, Lady Tremaine, had forced her to do all the housework. But her stepmother had promised Cinderella could go to the ball if she finished her chores and found something presentable to wear. Her mother's old dress needed a few alterations, which wouldn't be difficult if Cinderella could find the time to do them. Cinderella, her stepmother and stepsisters called. They were getting ready for the ball and wouldn't give Cinderella a moment's peace. Plus, she still had to do all of her chores. "I guess my dress will just have to wait," she sighed sadly. And she left the attic. After she left the attic, Shock said, "Know what? Cinderella, not go to the ball." The other mice looked at him startled. Cinderella's bird friends who were perched on the attic windowsill twittered anxiously. "Work, work, work," Shock explained with disgust. "She'll never get her dress done." Cinderella's animal friends decided to surprise her by fixing the dress. After all, she had been caring for them for years. Just that day, she had rescued poor Gus from a mousetrap. Then she had given him a new shirt and fed him. Every day she made sure her mouse and bird friends got enough to eat. The mice and birds worked together to make Cinderella's dress the most beautiful at the ball. First they measured the gown's skirt. Shock and Gus used scissors to cut a long swatch of pink fabric. Flying through the air, the birds draped the fabric across the back of the dress. More birds hoisted the mice into the air so they could sew the fabric into place. Then the mice hefted sewing needles over their shoulders and stitched on pretty ruffles. The birds draped on shiny ribbons as a finishing touch. Gus and Shock found a sash and a string of beads that the stepsisters had thrown away. The birds and mice completed the dress as the carriages arrived to take Lady Tremaine and her two daughters to the ball. Sure she wouldn't be able to attend, Cinderella sadly climbed the stairs to her attic room. But when she opened the door, her animal friends called out, "Surprise!" "Oh, thank you so much," Cinderella exclaimed. The birds and mice were overjoyed to see their friends so happy. She was always working so hard. When Cinderella ran downstairs in her new dress, her stepsisters and stepmother were very surprised. They hadn't thought Cinderella would find anything to wear. "We did make a bargain, didn't we, Cinderella?" her stepmother said. Suddenly suspicious, Shock and Gus watched from a mouse hole in the wall. "Those beads give it just the right touch, don't you think, Drizella?" Cinderella's stepmother asked. "Why, you little thief," cried Drizella. She lunged and ripped the beads off Cinderella's neck. "Look, that's my sash," Anastasia piped up. The girls tore Cinderella's lovely dress to shreds and then flounced out the door to their carriage. Her hopes dashed, Cinderella ran to the garden, crying. Cinderella's animal friends gathered around her as she wept on a stone bench. They wished they could comfort her. Suddenly, Cinderella heard an unfamiliar voice say, "There, there, dry your tears." It was Cinderella's fairy godmother. Waving her magic wand, the fairy godmother turned a pumpkin into a magnificent coach. Cinderella stared in amazement as the fairy godmother continued to work her magic. "Bibbidi-bobbidi-boo," she cried. Soon, 4 of the mice, including Cousin Shock, had turned into white horses. Bruno the dog became the footman, and the stable horse became the coachman. Then the fairy godmother looked at Cinderella's torn dress. "Good heavens, child," she exclaimed, "you can't go to the ball in that." She waved her wand once more. Suddenly, Cinderella was wearing beautiful glass slippers and a blue ball gown that shimmered like diamonds. Even her hair was arranged elegantly. She gazed at her reflection in the fountain with disbelief. "It's more than I ever hoped for," she declared, her eyes sparkling. The fairy godmother helped Cinderella climb into the coach. "You must understand, my dear, on the stroke of 12, the spell will be broken." When she arrived at the ball, Cinderella felt as if she were in a dream. Just 1 second, guys. I just need to do something here so I don't lose my spot. Okay. Everyone wondered who this mysterious girl was. The handsome prince bowed before her, and Cinderella felt her heart pounding. They danced together in the castle garden, gazing into her eyes. The prince leaned down to kiss her just as the clock struck 12. When she heard the bell toll, Cinderella remembered the fairy godmother's warning. She raced down the grand staircase, accidentally leaving one of her dainty glass slippers behind. Dainty glass slippers. Dainty glass slippers. The next day, Cinderella went about her chores. She daydreamed and hummed a waltz as she worked. Cinderella's mouse friends tried to warn her to be careful, but she was too busy thinking of the prince. Lady Tremaine overheard Cinderella and recognized the song from the ball. She realized that Cinderella was the girl from the ball who danced with the prince all evening. The Grand Duke was searching for the prince's mysterious love by trying the glass slipper on every maiden in the kingdom, including Cinderella's stepsisters. The wicked stepmother locked Cinderella in her attic room. "No, please, let me out," cried Cinderella. "We've got to get that key," Shock told Gus. The 2 mice raced downstairs and quietly took the key out of the stepmother's pocket. Then they pushed and pulled it up the long staircase. With a last burst of energy, Cinderella's exhausted little friends were finally we're missing some words. We're finally, I don't know, able to open the door, I'm gonna assume. Cinderella hurried down the steps. The Grand Duke had arrived while she was locked in the attic. Of course, Cinderella's wicked stepsisters tried on the slipper with glee, but their feet did not fit. The Grand Duke once again found a lady whom the slipper did not belong to. All the maidens' feet were either too big or too small. Disappointed, he started to leave the house. "Wait, please wait," Cinderella called to the Grand Duke. At the sound of Cinderella's voice, everyone looked up. apologize if you hear any background noise. I'm filming in the middle of the day, and I have people that live in my building that are in and out. At the sound of Cinderella's voice, everyone looked up. The mice hugged each other hopefully, but Cinderella's stepmother was upset that her stepchild had escaped, and she tripped the Grand Duke with her walking stick. The slipper Cinderella had left behind at the ball shattered. Luckily, Cinderella still had the other slipper. She pulled it out of her pocket, then tried it on. The slipper's perfect fit proved that Cinderella was the beautiful young woman who had won the prince's heart. The prince asked for Cinderella's hand in marriage, and the very next day they had their wedding at the palace. The end. So in one day, they prepared and got a wedding ready. Can you imagine that? It took me over a year to prepare for my wedding. Just saying. I guess when you're a prince or princess and you have all kinds of servants and people working for you, they work fast. Anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed our quick